All right, hello everybody. It's Saturday, April 8th. Wow, the year's going by quickly. Today I want to talk about some conversations I've had in the last few days with some different people and what the red pill, me waking up, has kind of led me down some rabbit holes. And the first one is, we all know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm a normal guy doing an N of one experiment on myself daily. This is Anthony Stewart, this is Food for Thought, and we're questioning everything they've ever said, and this is something they say quite often, which I'm going to give you an example. We all know, if you've been around my channel, you know I'm studying to be a nutritionist, and here's one funny thing that happened to me today, because I don't believe in coincidences, and here's the textbook. This was the original textbook, my first textbook, my first few courses in nutrition. Staying healthy with nutrition. Yeah, we'll get into that. And today, when I was going to talk about some of the problems I'm having with school, I opened it, and it just happened to be and this is no word of a lie, I opened the textbook, and right there, red meats. So let's see what the textbook says about red meat, and then we'll get into some of the thoughts. The red meats are probably the most controversial food categories. It is clear that an excess of meat in the diet can cause all kinds of problems, from its high amounts of fat and sodium, and likely from excess protein as well. The saturated fat concentration is probably the worst aspect of meat. But many doctors and other people believe, there's the other word, that they have to eat red meats for a balanced diet, and that without the protein and iron from meat, they will be undernourished. Funny, isn't it? Eating meat does make it a little easier to obtain these nutrients. I would argue that too. But I believe the negative aspects of beef and other cultivated red meats outweigh the positive, especially when meat is eaten regularly. I personally have chosen not to eat red meats, and many other health-oriented people have made the same choice. Well, I can fully vouch for this. Take that. Because what will I say to this? Well, I'm getting on to 2 years now of eating a very carnivorous, animal-based, at some points, carnivore diet. I feel amazing. I've resolved countless health issues. And that right there is one snippet of the school textbook that I'm studying. And that's what they're teaching us. So I, in my humble, experienced opinion, would strongly disagree to that. Now, unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to get my blood work done at all times. But what I can use is my logic, my reason, and can tell you without a shadow of a doubt how good I feel right now and how good things have led up in my life to this point. If I'd listened to that book, I would be plant-based, I'd be eating 17 times a day, I'd be filling my belly with a bunch of fiber that is irrelevant. And, that leads me down to these conversations that I've had with people. And, once I took the red pill, kind of ironic that it's red and red meat, the most fascinating thing that's happened is my brain is functioning. And I had a conversation with my mother the other day, and it was basically on the lines of, so you mean to tell me after 40 plus years of numbness and, lethargy, all of a sudden my genetic predisposition to learn and seek knowledge and seek answers, ask questions and truth is just basically because that's what happens when you hit a certain age? I would argue not. I would say that the nutrition and the nutrients that my body is receiving has led to my brain working better. So, the arguments are out there about what's optimal, what's best, I've found from myself, speaking anecdotally, of course, and this is my opinion, is that everything that chapter just mentioned is absolutely 100% bullshit. That's a hard pill to swallow when you're battling with a bunch of plant-based future nutritionists in the forums and at school, whereas there's no study that's going to tell me how good I'm feeling, and that's the problem. So my conversation with my mom led me to this, this thought that it's not a coincidence that my brain is alive since I've been feeding it the right nutrition for humans. And now that goes to stand where, can you be a vegan? Sure. Can you be a vegetarian? Sure, you can. You can do whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just showing you a different side of what makes sense to me. And until I start feeling like crap, I'm going to continue this way that I'm doing things. And, I think there's some pearls of wisdom laid into, certain things. Now, nutrition. What is nutrition? Nutrition is nutrition. There's no ethics. There's no religion. There's no debate. When it comes down to what our body needs, there is something. Now, how you get it, what you do about it, that's the debate. That's the context. Some people have their opinions based on a bunch of crap, and it's getting a lot more apparent that it's built on a house of cards and straw man arguments all over the place. The only way that you're going to find out is to have a little bit of faith. Question what you know. Question your beliefs. Because when these questions are asked and you can honestly look subjectively at the information out there, it gets real muddy, real cloudy. So it comes down to faith. And what you decide to do with your faith and where you put your effort in, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Now, we can cite studies all day long about the same bullshit, the same epidemiology that doesn't prove anything. It just should be posing more questions. Yet we're finding answers and we're making it stamped absolutely. Well, I don't think there's absolutes. Now, if you want to look at this, around the carnivore space, the term obligate hypercarnivore, which would technically mean, if you look at it like subjectively, it's kind of omnivorous. 70% of your diet should come from animals, the protein and associated fat. Well, that's 30% gray area. Does that mean we cannot eat vegetables? I would say we probably can. And is there nutrition in some vegetables? I'm sure there is. I think it's very contextual. I think everybody's body is different. I think everybody's health status and the way their body is working is different. Now, so your broccoli to me might not be broccoli to you, potato kind of thing. So, this is where it comes down to trial and error, taking something and asking questions and finding your own truth. Once again, I'm trying to help you find your way. Is there a one size fits all? Probably, but yet our lives and our stresses and all the factors come into play, and all the variables will be different for everybody. So there has to be you got to do what you got to do, and try I have my beliefs, I have my bias. I believe we do need protein from the best source possible. I believe fat is nutritious. I believe that there is no essential carbohydrates. Does that mean we shouldn't eat sugar? Probably not on the scale that we do now. But is a little bit of sugar bad? Well, then there's that argument about the doses and the poison. So another conversation that I had recently was, it's pretty simple. And this, once again, is my opinion. If you eat good things that a human should eat, most of the time, you should be okay. Now, that leaves a lot of room for pleasure. That leaves a lot of room for emotions. That leaves a lot of room for comfort. But if your body is getting the nutrients it needs from the best available sources, and your body can handle the assimilation of the nutrients and the usage of energy, I think that's disease. Disease gets resolved. Now, once a couple rabbit holes I've been down is like, who started the medical industry? Who funded the major university structure? Who funded the education system? Who funded all these plant-based, all these hyperpalatable processed foods? If you want to get nasty and get into it, you're going to be shocked at what you find. And that's what I've been doing over the last, 4 years is questioning things that they've said. And all it's done is led me to more questions. And now I'm looking at the similarities between what led me into the space with nutrition and my health has now led to almost every single faction of science that I can dig into. Archaeology, history, medicine, all of it has a certain narrative, like our history. Once you dig into religion, it's all pushed on you. And it's time to start asking questions, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask the hard, nasty questions. And you know what? You're going to be shocked when you find the answers. And I mean, maybe you won't find the answers, but you know what? It's the seeking of the truth that should be encouraged, not quelled. When someone talks in absolutes, why? Isn't that the idea about science in the first place, to ask questions, discourse, debate? That's what I'm going to say today. So I urge you to keep searching for yourself. Find your way. Learn from people. Take different bits and pieces and put it together to do what's best for you and what makes sense for you. I want to know how you feel about these things. You know, what rabbit holes have you been down that have shocked you? Leave a comment below. Stay strong.